rent the apartment, I did not really have this on my bingo card for 2025. I planned on staying here for literally as long as I could. Basically, my entire apartment flooded yesterday, and it was extremely traumatizing and scary. I didn't know what to do. I like my basement apartment. This is the 4th time it's flooded, and this is the worst time it's flooded. It's only ever been a little bit of water that is covering this area of the living room. Doesn't go anywhere else in the apartment. It's just a little bit that I just mop it up with towels and call it a day. This was, looking at the baseboards, at the highest, 2 inches of water in my living room. This is the lowest part of the living room. This was 2 inches, which then kept flowing into my kitchen, which went then into my laundry room. It went to my left, into my bathroom, carried into my bedroom. My other little room for my child also flooded, not as bad as this. The front corner, or I guess the back corner of the house, water was coming in there. Carpet soaked, beanbag soaked, everything soaked. Now, this was the 4th time this has happened, so I've at least kind of, fortunately, got it down pat after the first time or two, where I removed everything off the floors. The only thing that was on the floors was stuff in plastic bins that were under my couch or under his bed, but my bedroom never got wet, so I never had to worry about that. Yesterday, it poured rain, and it poured rain the night before, I'd like to add, but I didn't have any flooding. It poured rain yesterday. I kept my kid home from school because he was sick, and I saw it I heard it raining, and I look and I'm like, oh my God, and I saw it kind of coming in my door, and I was like, oh shit, I need to get the shop vac and start pumping it from the bottom of my steps, because that's typically what we do when we can maintain it. This was already 2 to 3 inches of water outside my door, and it was coming in from under my door. I panicked. I had my kid up on the couch. My dog was just kind of wandering around. I have a bunny. He luckily was like in this corner, and the water kind of flowed. The water kind of flowed this way. I was like, oh my God, I need to go get the shop vac. I opened my door, go get the shop vac, come back, and it's just pouring, and it's so much water. There was about a foot of water at my door when I went to go in. So I was like, fuck this, throw the vacuum outside, open my door, get in, because at this point there is no pumping it out. It's pouring rain. If I can't get into that unit, then my kid and my dog and my rabbit are in there alone, and I can't open the door. So I come in and I put all the towels I have around up against the door to try to block the water or hold back the water as much as I could. It was still kind of coming through a corner, but the water, and I'd like to add, there's a sandbag, because we've been through this before. We were trying to get to the root of this, and I thought we did until yesterday. And so I threw a sandbag in front of my door when I ditched the shop vac outside. I threw a sandbag in front of my door to kind of hopefully block some of the water. I will overlay a picture. I don't have a picture of the actual water outside my door, because obviously in the moment, that was not my thought, but I will show you a picture of the water line outside my door. It was about 1.5 to 2 foot of water outside that door. I could not open that door. If I did, everything in here would have been under 2 feet of water. I have electrical outlets. In my bedroom, I have my computer on my floor, or had my computer on my floor. I had power bars. I had my TV plugged in. I had Wi-Fi plugged in. Now, these things were not on the floor because, again, I've been through this. My computer was on my floor because my room never flooded. So now I'm running around because I can't stop this water. Everything is 2 inches of water in here, and it's going into every single room. Every single room.
Let's just take out some patio stones there so it's forced to go into the back. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I'm like, I don't know what to do. I was panicking. I called 911. The dispatch, I was freaking out. She was like, okay, well, like, I'm gonna have the fire truck come, blah, blah, blah. They're gonna be here. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. I can't do this. Like, I don't know what to do. I can't lose everything. I can't lose everything. And she was like, okay, well, I want you to go out. Can you go outside? Get out of the house. And I was like, no, I'm running around unplugging everything. Because again, I have a computer sitting on the floor, which would have been wet if I didn't do that. It was plugged in, so I had to unplug everything from my computer, all the cords, all the power bars, everything. Everything from under my bed got thrown up on my bed. Everything from here, like there was bins under my couch that I just left them because they were plastic bins. There was like some toys that were okay to get wet under here because, again, this is my 4th time doing this. But I was like, I have my dog, my kid, my bunny. I don't know what to do. I can't stop the water. I don't know what's going on. And she just kept reiterating, like, okay, the fire truck's gonna be there. Like, can you meet them at the top of the stairs? And I was like, no, I cannot leave my apartment. I cannot leave my apartment. I have to save as much stuff as I can because I have still tenant insurance, and I never had flood problems last year here. So I took the flood coverage off because it was never a problem. And of course, I had 4 floods this year. I took it off. I had 4 floods. So I was like, I can't lose this stuff. I can't afford to replace this. I'm a single mom. I can't afford to replace this stuff, and I cannot have things plugged in right now. And so I was just like, I can't. I'm worried about my stuff getting ruined and stuff like that. And she was like, well, I'm more worried about you. Can you please go to the top of the stairs? I said, no, I cannot open that door. There's 2 feet of water outside the door. If anything, I can go and stick my head. I busted through the screen there to talk to the firefighters. I was talking to them because I can't open this door. If I do, whoosh, everything would get soaked. I cannot afford to do that. The outlets cannot get wet. It's common sense to unplug everything. You know, at least if the outlets get wet, there's not shit running through it and then water touching it, you know? So I was talking, when they came, I was panicking, I was sobbing because my world is just falling apart. And I was talking to the firefighters out the window. They were like, we don't have a pump. I was like, I have a shop vac, but I can't keep up with it. And you can't open the door to plug it in. So I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know what to do. And so they had to stand outside and shovel out or bucket out water from the bottom of the steps so that we could actually open the door. And when they came in, they were walking in 2 inches of water everywhere. My dog, out of fear, and it was raining, he doesn't like thunderstorms, and then all the stress and everything, peed in here because there's water, and it just, you know, his stress in his brain was just like, oh my God. So he peed. So now the water that was in here was also dirty water with urine, and it was in every single room. Every single room. I don't want to cry because I have to go look at apartments today. But I planned on staying here for another year or 2. at least. My son's in a really good school. I like the area. I like my neighbors. I like my landlord. It's a good price. I don't have the money to pay $2,000 for rent. My whole world just like flashed before my eyes yesterday morning. My whole world. Everything. I am so glad I did not listen to dispatch and I did not go outside. I'm so glad that I just acted on my gut instinct and my survival skills with unplugging everything and throwing everything on high surfaces to save as much as I could. I am so glad I did not go outside and I did not open that door, because this house would have been submerged in water. All the electrical submerged in water. Could have been a house fire. You know? I acted quick and I'm proud of myself for that. I did what I needed to do to save not just my belongings, but my son's and my animals, and make sure everyone's okay and safe. So I vacuumed as much as I could with the shop vac in here, and then I dried what I could with towels. The water that ran into my bedroom, luckily there's a door with a sub pump. The firefighters left that open so that the water would drain in there. Oh. The water that ran into the kitchen area, luckily my son's room is up a few steps, so the water that came in there was only minuscule, but the water that flowed all the way through my kitchen into the laundry room, pooled in the laundry room, there's about an inch because it's a little bit lower. That room is a little bit lower set. So about an inch of water pooled into the laundry room. I don't know where that water went. I don't recall a drain being in there, but it went somewhere. Maybe it went through the cracks because it's a really old house. It went through the cracks into the ground eventually. I don't know. It's fairly dry in there. It's damp. Everything's damp, but there's no puddles of water. So now I'm looking for a new apartment. I'm looking between today and tomorrow to find something quick, in my price range, safe for my animals and my kid. I just never thought that this would happen, honestly, and it hasn't hit me yet. I think it's hitting me a little bit now, actually talking about it. But I had to panic and pack everything. As soon as the fire department left, I had to call all my family. My mom drove down hours away. My dad, his brother, my cousin, everybody came to help. We had to pack this place quick because they were calling for rain last night and they're calling for rain tonight. I can't stay here anymore because the floors are literally curling up. There's so much water under this flooring. Everything is warped. The doors don't even open properly because the subfloor is so absorbed with water. This was extremely, extremely traumatic for me. This being the fourth time and the worst time. I don't even want to see this happen again. So we had to empty this entire place. At least everything out of here, the bottom drawers in the kitchen, and everything out of the bedroom. Everything out of my son's room is out. The only thing that's left is the upper shelves in the kitchen, the fridge, the bathroom stuff that's, again, off floor height. I've piled a bunch of stuff on my fireplace up there, and I don't know. I'm hoping I can find a place between now and the end of the week. We just finished moving all my stuff into a storage unit because I don't know how long I'm going to be without an apartment. But it just sucks. just sucks. I'm trying to stay positive, trying to stay optimistic. One of the ways I'm trying to do that is looking at how it could have been if I wasn't here and I saw that amount of water at my door, how much water was in here, and if my dog and my rabbit, because my rabbit was on the floor in his cage, if my dog and my rabbit were in here and I wasn't in here, and this place got 2 feet of water in here, everything damaged, bunny in water, dog freaking out. It could have been so much worse. It was bad and it was scary, but I handled it well. I did what I needed to do. I act fast. I went into survival mode. It could have been so much worse. I'm so glad that I was home, that I called I called 911 right away. I didn't try to deal with it on my own, you know? I'm glad it wasn't a fire, because if it was a fire, everything gone. Everything. So I am so thankful for the fact that it wasn't as bad as it could have been. I'm glad I was home. I'm glad I acted quick on my toes, you know? I'm glad it wasn't a fire. And I'm gonna look at this as, it sucks, but your life isn't always falling apart. It might just be falling into place. And I remind myself that constantly when things like this happen. I got in a car accident a year ago, car totaled. Same thing. I felt my whole life was falling apart. But it fell into place. And I know that there's a lesson in this somewhere. I know I can't see it right now because I'm so stressed, but there is a reason this happened. There's a reason I was home. There's a reason why it was a flood and not a fire. There's a reason for everything, right? There's no such thing as a coincidence, and there's a reason or a lesson behind every single thing that happens, good and bad. So I'm trying to stay optimistic. I have to go look at an apartment right now. I have apartments to look at today and tomorrow, and I'm hoping to have something figured out by the weekend so that I can just take all my stuff from storage or what I need, and my son and I have a place to call our home again. And it'll be a new chapter, a new journey, a new adventure, new lessons. And if you guys would like to come along with that, for that, and be a part of that growth and that journey, I would really, really appreciate it. I don't know what's next. I don't know. But my whole world, my whole life is changing. And I'm thankful that it's changing for a good reason. It's something that had to happen. I needed to move, clearly, and I don't know. So yeah, I guess get ready for that. Get ready for, I have 2 storage units of stuff to unpack, go through, you know, set my whole life up again, figure out where I'm gonna live. And I welcome you guys to come along. So, welcome to the shit show, AKA my life. So, I'll see you guys next Tuesday.